On the drums, ladies and gentlemen, our drummer Ronnie Tutt is not here tonight. Let's see, and Stump, son, he's the inspirations drummer. He's fantastic. Jerome, play.
This is Elvis Online, and I'm Joe Krein, and we have Jerome Stump Monroe. How you doing, Stump?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Stump, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Washington, D.C., 1944.
Okay.
In Washington, D.C.
Now, I have to ask you, Stump, how did you get the nickname Stump?
Well, that's weird. I used to play with a band back in Washington, and they just started calling me Stump, and it stuck with me all those years. You know, that was back in when I was about 14 or 15 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I guess because I'm short, you know.
Oh, is that what it is?
Well, I guess that's what it was. I don't know. I didn't name myself that. The guys I played with named me that.
Right.
And it stuck with me. Elvis asked me the same thing.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Hey, Stump, what's your early influences in music?
Well, I was listening to music like Four Tops, Temptation, Marvin Gaye, D. Clark, Wilson Pickett, you know.
Yeah, wow, great. So,
yeah.
Were you an Elvis fan?
When I first started, I wasn't. No.
Just didn't like his kind of music?
Well, it's not that I didn't listen. I wasn't playing it, you know.
Right.
I was playing R&B music, so that's what I listened to. But after I got with Elvis' show, I used to watch his show all the time. All the time, whenever Sweet got through performing, I'd go back and watch the show. And I come to find out that he was a very good singer, hell of entertainment. You know, you're not going to find nobody else like him. There'll never be another Elvis.
So now, how did you get into the music business?
Oh, that's funny. Funny you asked that. Well, I started playing in my basement. I'd take a 45 record. At the time, I had 45 records like James Brown and all them. Where I was playing on a 78 speed and play along with it. My mom bought me a little set of toy drums, and I used to be down in the basement banging on them all the time. So I taught myself how to play.
So when did you get your first drum set?
Oh, I guess I was around about 13 or 14. They threw me out in the garage.
It's too loud.
Yeah, it was too loud music, you know, I mean, drumming. And then I started having all my neighbors come out and listen to me. And I just kept playing. But that's how I started playing. I listened to records and listened to a washing machine. Washing machine had a rhythm to it.
Okay.
So I used to play along with the washing machine and play a different rhythm against it.
Now, do you play any other instruments?
Oh, no. No, I tried guitar and bass, but it hurt my hand, so I said forget it. So I just started playing drums.
So now, how did you get to start playing for the Sweet Inspirations? How did that come about?
Well, that was a long time ago. I think I was with Martha Reeves and the Vandellas.
Were you really? Wow.
Yeah,
Big fan.
and guitar player named Gravy Gatskin. He was with the Sweet Inspiration with the Elvis show too. Where he needed a drummer, and he used to like the way I played, so he came and asked me would I play with the Sweets. So I told him yeah. So I think the first gig we did was in Atlanta, Georgia, with James Brown nightclub that James had down there.
Okay.
And the first person was doing the show down there when we walked in there was let me see, I think it was not Jackie Wilson, I can't remember now, but it was somebody big.
Okay.
A big star, you know, like Marvin Gaye or somebody like that, but it wasn't neither one of them, but it was a big star, and I was like, I said, wow, man, I get to see these people, because I used to work the Apollo Theater.
Right? The Apollo?
When I was with D. Clark and the Howard Theater, where I used to play all that, and we used to run into all these big stars, Marvin Gaye and people like that, you know, and it was something else. I mean, at that time it was people perform. Not saying people don't perform now, but it's a different type of thing.
Right.
You know, so.
Boy, you must have some memories, Stump.
I have a whole lot of memories. That's all life is memories.
There you go. Now, so let me understand this. The Sweets were already with Elvis when you started to play with the Sweets?
No.
No, okay.
I was with the Sweets 12 years.
Okay.
With the Sweet Inspiration, and we used to go overseas to Trinidad and Germany, all over that way, and perform all the time.
Uh-huh.
And then they came up to me and told me that Elvis wanted them to perform with him. And I said, well, wow, that's a big deal there. You know, I mean, he's the greatest. I mean, he's the only one that I know that was that big.
Right.
You know, so picked Elvis, and we got with him. And what we used to do, I used to play for Joe Gershio and the Sweet Inspiration and J.D. Sumner and the Stamps Quartet. At the time, it was named Voice, a group called Voice, and Imperials.
Right.
Before J.D. So I used to play for all them. And Mr. Tom Diskin,
right,
came up to me and said, you know, we need a drummer to play for everybody. And I said, for everybody? He said, yeah, he had 3 drummers on the show. And I knew Ronnie wasn't going nowhere, you know.
Right.
And between me and Billy Blackwood, I think that was his name. And they picked me for the second drummer, and I played show for 9 years. I was with the Sweets for 12 years. You know, and I just stayed with it. And once I got with it, I understand what Elvis was all about. He was a hell of an entertainer and a very nice person.
Yeah. Now,
to me, he was, okay?
Right.
To me, he was. I ain't saying that he was like that with everybody, because people like that, if they don't like somebody, they not nice to them.
Right. Right.
You know, but to me, the experience that I had with that man, he really treated me good. And I really enjoyed working with him.
Good. Now, Stump, can you tell me the first time you met Elvis?
Oh, I think the first time I met him was back in about 1970. I think it was 70. And he was downstairs in the Hilton. He had this black hat on with this black coat, looked like a cape. I mean, he was cool looking, man. I mean, I looked at him, I said, whoa. Now, don't get me wrong, man, okay? I'm not gay. I'm all man, but I got to admit one thing.
Okay.
That's the only man that I've seen that looked that nice. I mean, he was cool looking, and I said, wow, man, you know. But I've never been the type of person that is a fan of somebody and just got to touch them and stuff like that. You know, I meet people. I met Sammy. You know, I used to go to Sammy's house for dinner.
Uh-huh.
And I met a whole lot of big stars, you know, in my days. Wilson Pickett, a whole bunch of them, Rita. But nobody never, I don't know, grabbed me a certain way. Elvis grabbed me a certain way that when I looked at him and he looked at me, because he used to come and talk to me all the time. And like before he go on stage, I'd go there and say, hey, Elvis, how you doing? And we'd shake each other's hands and stuff like that. But he could look right through you for some reason.
Uh-huh.
That's what I felt. He'd look at me and look right through me. You know, like he had a certain kind of power or something. I don't know.
Right. Can you remember any of the things that you would talk about? Would it be about the show or the attendance or anything? Or
Well, you know, mainly about the show. Just say, well, was it a good show like that? How about the audience, the crowd out there? You know, he loved the fans. He loved fans. That's one thing. He was always worried about how his fans felt. You know, were they enjoying the show and stuff like that? But he ain't had nothing to worry about because every show that man did, he did a show except when he started getting sick. You know.
Right. Now, what was your role for the show? You played for the Sweets, and then if you were needed, you would play for Ronnie Tutt if he had to go somewhere, right?
Well, I played. My job was playing for Joe Gershel. Played the first opening number.
Okay.
Then Jackie Kahane or Tammy Shore, whoever it was, come on, do the show, do this bit. I mean, no, it was J.D. Sumner.
Right.
Sammy Shore, I think. And then we'll come on. The Streets would look like they was just co-stars. And then Elvis would come on. We'll take intermission and they set up for Elvis. Now, I never thought that I'd play behind Elvis. That wasn't even in my mind.
Right.
I said, me play behind Elvis? No way, because Ronnie is a madman on drums. I mean, he's a very good drum. He taught me a whole lot on drums and showed me how to hold my sticks different ways so I wouldn't get sores on my hands and stuff like that. So I really respect what Ronnie taught me, you know.
Right.
But I didn't think I was going to ever play behind Elvis. I could see me playing behind everybody else. But you going to play behind Elvis Presley? No way. So when they came up to me and told me that, I mean, I almost fainted. You know, I was so nervous that my leg was shaking, and the hi-hat, the two cymbals that clap together, you put your feet on,
right,
was playing by itself. I mean, that's how bad I was shaking, you know, because I didn't have no rehearsal or nothing with Elvis. I just went on stage and played cold with no rehearsal, no nothing. Right. And he asked me to do it 3 times, so I must have did an okay job for him.
There you go. Now, do you remember the reasons why?
Well, one time I know Ronnie's wife had a baby.
Right. That was in Las Vegas, 1975.
Yeah, and other times I don't remember. I played behind him 3 times. I was almost one of the last drummers played behind him.
Right. It was Philadelphia, 1971, because Ronnie had the flu. Las Vegas, 75, because Ronnie Tutt's wife had a baby. And then Madison, Wisconsin, 1977, because of a family emergency.
Oh, that's what it was?
That's what it was. I did some homework.
Yeah, they didn't tell me why. They just say I came off the stage playing the Sweet Show, and somebody, Mr. Diskin, told me, said, you got to play behind Elvis. I said, no, man, no, don't do that to me. Yeah. You know, and just had to get ready to play behind him. And like I said, it was a very skilled. I wouldn't wish that on nobody because it's very. I could have had a heart attack.
What did Elvis
You know.
say to you? Elvis say it's going to be fine, Stump. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's what he said. You just go out there and play
Yeah.
and watch me. He told me watch him. He said keep your eyes on me. Don't worry about nobody else. Watch me, and that's what I did. I was glued to the Elvis. I didn't know should I watch his head, watch his hands, watch his legs, watch his behind. I didn't know what to watch
Uh-huh.
because Elvis moves everything. See, he does everything. Everything be moving. So I didn't know what to watch. You know, all I know that he did a karate thing and he be doing certain things with legs, and I just caught it, try to catch it the best I could do it without rehearsing with him. You know.
Right.
But I heard Ronnie took karate lesson with Elvis.
Right.
That's how he knew about all that stuff.
Oh yeah. So now, how did Vegas differ from Tahoe, and then on tour?
How did Vegas?
Vegas and Tahoe differ. I mean, did you? I mean, I've heard from a lot of the people that I've interviewed, Stump. A lot of people said that they preferred Tahoe over Vegas because it was more laid back, and Elvis enjoyed it better because it was a smaller venue. I was just wondering if you felt the same.
Well, I remember, I think it was Tahoe when Elvis got sick or something, and we had to play without him one time. I think it was Tahoe.
Yeah.
And he seemed like he enjoyed it, but he seemed like he enjoyed the Vegas too,
Yeah.
to me, you know, for some reason. We had a good time. We had a whole lot of people on the show, and I have to admit one thing. I didn't see one argument in that group.
No.
You know, I'm looking at the picture right now with everybody in it, you know, with all the bands and all the singers and stuff like that. And I have to admit that they really got along well with each other.
Yeah.
On show that I've been with that didn't nobody had no trouble with nobody, you know. And I played behind a whole lot of different people.
Yeah, and probably seen a lot of arguments in other bands and stuff. So.
Well, yeah, you always have a problem. You know, somebody don't like the way somebody play, or somebody don't like the way this person getting. Somebody don't like how much this person is making.
Right.
Stuff like that. See, we never went through that with the Elvis show. You know, you just go on to do your job, and that was it. And I liked it because I could talk to Elvis. I mean, you know, I catch him when he's ready to go on stage, and I walk up to him and talk to him right before he go on. He even took a ring off the singer.
Uh-huh.
It was a black sapphire with 4 diamonds. I never forget it. And took it off, and before he went on stage, he said, "Stop here." And he put it on my hand. And I looked at him, I said, "Whoa, no, you don't have to do that." He said, "No, I want you to have it." And he gave me that, and he gave me a cross with 11 diamonds. And I was sick one time on the road. I was trying to make the show, and I got on the show bus, and they had to take me off the show bus, put me back in my room because I was really sick. I was sick from my colon.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me a gold cross with 11 diamonds. I mean, that's what kind of person he was. I mean, he just, and told his doctor, go past there and see about me.
Right.
I mean, that's how he was, you know. He was like that.
Now, Stump, do you have a TCB?
I had TCB. I sold my TCB.
Uh-huh. Do you still have the ring?
Nah, I bought a house with the ring.
Did you? Oh, my goodness. Goodness.
Yeah, I did all that. You know, you run into different things in life, you know, family
Sure.
and stuff. You know, and I always believe them things that Elvis gave us sometime, you keep them, but he gave them to us because he know we wasn't what you call millionaires or nothing.
Right. And if you need them, you
Yeah,
need them.
you need them, you need them, you need them. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Yeah.
That's right. You know that what I think was interesting about Elvis was Elvis shared the stage with everybody. He never was like he made sure everybody, all the fans knew all your names, and like if
everything.
right, he shared the stage. He didn't take the stage over.
No, he wasn't greedy. Like you know the performance nowadays, and I'm not knocking nobody, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm not knocking anybody, but they do not share the stage like Elvis did. Elvis shared the stage. I mean, he talked about Ryan Tutton, James Burton, and Jerry Shield. You know, I mean, and you know, like they was part of, like they were the show.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
I mean, even when I played behind him, he looked at me and called my name on the CDs that they made from it. You know, Stump
Yep.
Earn. You know, son, you have it. You know, I mean, he used to do things like that, but he must knew that I could play the show and stuff like that. He gave me some publicity from it. You know, letting me know that he appreciated what I was doing up there. You know.
Right. Now, Stump, do you have any funny stories that you can share with the listeners about any of the shows or being on tour with Elvis? Do you have any funny stories that you like to tell people?
I had one thing to tell. I was backstage at the Hilton with the bodyguards, and I was standing back there, and we stepped on Elvis' cord, his mic cord.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not lying. When we stepped on it, it did something to the cord, and he looked, and I'm not lying. Everybody back there scattered. I mean, he had a look that I've never seen. I've been around the world. I've played 80-some thousand people. I've been around the world and seen a whole lot of different things. But that man had a look that I still can't believe. I can look at it. I have his picture right now that I'm looking at right now, and I can see Elvis. This is plain. I can see him doing what he's doing. This is plain. And I always would keep him pictures up on my wall like that.
Right.
Because sometimes when I get down, I look at him and he brings me back up. See?
There you go. He's done that to me many times in my life too, Stump.
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, life is nothing but a memory. And I had some very good memories out of my life, you know.
You have. Hey, Stump, what did you think about Colonel Parker? Did you ever have any run-ins with the Colonel?
Oh, I never had a run-in with Colonel. The first time I played behind Elvis, he tried to hypnotize me. I mean, you know, I talked to the Colonel. He kind of hypnotized me and stuff like that, and he didn't do nothing to me.
What? He tried to hypnotize you.
Yeah, he wanted to hypnotize me before I played behind Elvis, you know.
So
because he knew going out there and playing them drums, you know, Ronnie Tutt is Ronnie Tutt.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Nobody would never be able to play like Ronnie Tutt. I think Ronnie is a great drummer. I respect him to the highest. And I didn't try to go out and play like Ronnie. All I wanted to do is do some hits like he did and play 2001, you know, going into CC Rider, like the way that I had to do that because the band had to go into the song, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I had to try to remember everything that I could remember. And let me tell you, like I said, I don't wish it on nobody.
Yeah. Hey, Stump, how did you find out that Elvis had passed away?
Oh, I was on the TCB plane, the private plane we had.
Yeah.
And Mr. Diskin said that where we landed someplace, I forgot where we landed. You got to understand, it's been years, and I had 2 strokes since then, you know?
I understand.
So my memory sometimes is not that good, but I remember that because I was on the plane and we landed, and we was on the airport. At the airport, we was out there on the ground, and he ran into the airport and came back out and said, Elvis is in the hospital. And we looked at him and said, come on, man, don't be playing like that. Because we was going someplace, going to a tour. Portland, Maine or something like that.
Right.
I could be wrong, but anyway, we told him don't be playing with us like that. You know, everybody was saying. He said, no, Elvis is in the hospital. And then we stayed on the ground instead of just getting back on the plane going to where we was going. And they come to find out that Elvis had died. And when he told us that, couldn't nobody believe it. Everybody just walked around and started crying and stuff. And You know, it took us a long. It took me about 2 years to believe that Elvis was gone.
Really?
Took
Really?
me 2 years. I didn't want to believe it, and I cried many times when I looked at him and thought about everything that we have did with that show. And then you got to think about what you're gonna do after, what you're gonna do now.
Right.
You've been with that show for, I've been with the show for 9 years. You know what I'm doing now. I haven't even thought about leaving the show.
What did you do
You know?
after Elvis?
Well, after that was I just stayed in Vegas and played with the Del Vikings and the Flamingos. May only have eyes for you.
Right.
Yeah, I played with them cats. You know, and just played with different groups. You know, like right now I play with a group called A Touch of Silk. We used to be some of the Flamingos. You know, we formed a group from the Flamingos, the singer, the guitar player, and myself. I was a drummer. So we just formed the group, and I've been out here in Vegas, got married. You know, I'm happy, you know.
There you go. Hey, now, did you go to the funeral?
No,
You didn't go to the funeral.
no. I tell you, too, you know, I can't handle funerals. I'm the type of person I don't want to see nobody that I love or that I know in a casket.
Right.
I think that's, to me, and I'm saying this is my opinion. Nobody else, everybody got the right to feel the way they want to feel. But to me, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I remember that person in the casket, and that's bad for me. I don't like to see that.
Okay.
I like to remember Elvis walking around, laughing, joking, playing jokes and stuff like they used to do, you know?
Right. Stump, what do you think of the everlasting popularity of Elvis Presley?
I think it's crazy.
Can
To
you
be
believe?
honest, I can't. I see. That's what I'm saying. Rick is a good friend of mine. He tell me, he says, Stump, you did something that too many people, not that many people can say that they did it. Man, you know, I mean, wow, you one of the last drummers ever played behind him. He did 2 songs that he never did after I played behind him.
Right. What were those songs? You remember them?
I know Love Me Tender is one of them. I forgot the other one.
Okay.
But I was the last person who played them songs behind him, and I said, wow. And I played behind him. I was like the last summer, Larry London, I think, was the last drummer played behind, I think, because he took my place. I couldn't handle it. I was playing the whole show, and my hands started bleeding. I went to Elvis and told him, it's too much for me, you know. I mean, it's too much. You play behind Elvis, it's like 2 days' work.
I
You
bet.
know, it just drains you because he's moving all the time. He's doing something all the time, and the drummer don't never stop hardly. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
he got the drummer. He had poor Ronnie Tut working so hard. I used to feel sorry for Ronnie. You know.
Now you saw a lot of shows. I mean, this is a little bit out of order, but I thought I'd ask you. You saw a lot of shows, Stump. Was there a particular show that you liked the most out of all the years? Was there something about a show that was your favorite? Like you always think about that one?
Well, all the shows that I seen, I don't have no favorite because I've seen most all the shows that he did. Because I wouldn't get off of work and just leave. I would always stay and watch his show. And you know, I know he used to clown a whole lot now.
Right.
You know, he used to lay down on the floor and you know joke with the people. But that was Elvis.
Right.
To me, Elvis was a big kid. You know. I mean, he enjoyed life. He liked to have fun, and he used to get in parties upstairs in the crown room. And when I didn't go or somebody didn't go, he asked you why you didn't come.
Really?
Oh yeah, and he have important people up there, Raquel Welch, you name them, Sammy. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't tell us, well, hey, you know, you're a musician, you know, and you can't be around my people. No, that's why I respect him so much. He treated you like a human being.
Right.
You know, and something else I would like to get out off my chest, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
If you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
I heard years ago that Elvis said all black people could do is shine his shoes or something like that. That's what I hear from my people, black people. They are wrong. That man did not say that.
Yeah,
He wasn't a prejudiced person. He was a very good-hearted person. But you have to get to know Elvis now. I mean, just because you did a recording session with Elvis or something like that, that's not getting to know Elvis.
right.
You have to be around him.
Stump, wasn't there a time? Now this might be just TV, but wasn't there a time where the suites were told that there wasn't a hotel room for them, and so Elvis didn't stay at that particular hotel? Was there ever any problem like that?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I didn't hear nothing about that when I was with him.
Okay, like I said, it might be TV. You know how they change things.
Well, maybe it was. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm saying that, as far as I know, it was nothing like that. I know me and JD used to stay in trouble all the time.
Oh yeah,
We we used to do stuff like this. Like we was playing Madison Square Garden. We have gotten off the bus. I hope I won't get in trouble for this.
Go ahead.
But we used to get off the bus and direct traffic in New York City. Can you believe that?
Did you?
Yeah, and the police would want to lock us up. They did. They followed to the Coliseum, was going to lock us up. And Mr. Diskin told the cops, say, you don't want to do that. Say, this is the Elvis Presley show. He said, it'd be a ride. You don't want to do that. But we was late. We was running late, and we couldn't get through traffic. So me and JD got off the bus and direct traffic.
Yeah, they said.
And that sounds crazy to you, but we used to do stuff like that.
Yeah. How was it playing at Madison Square Garden?
It was crazy. There was a whole lot of people, man. I always wanted to play Madison Square Garden, in some of the places. I think we played every Coliseum in the United States.
Yeah.
We never got a chance to go overseas and play, but I'm doing that now. I'm doing a show every year for the past 3 years or 4 years that I play overseas, like Germany, Sweden,
Yeah.
Denmark. Yeah, I go over there and play a Elvis show, trying to keep the name live and play his music. And and I really enjoy it. I really do.
Stump, did Elvis ever talk to you saying that he wanted to go overseas and tour?
He never told me.
No.
He never told me nothing like that. But I heard that he wanted to. Now I don't know how true it is, but that's what I was hearing. I don't know if the colonel didn't want him to go or what, but that's what I was hearing. I'm pretty sure that he wanted to do that because he played every place in the United States, and the people just loved him. He was worrying about the fans more than anything. He loved the fans. He always wanted to set aside the fans and stuff.
Right. Well, Stump, I want to thank you for doing this for Elvis Online. Would you please stay on the line when I turn this off? I need to talk to you for a second, but thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to the readers?
Well, keep his name and his legacy alive. Keep doing what you're doing, that's all. Because it's a pleasure. It's really, I really didn't know that he was as big as he was until I started traveling overseas, and people overseas really treat you nice. They really treat you nice. They appreciate entertainment over there.
Lots of Elvis fans overseas.
Yeah, I ran into a couple of them over there, and they're really nice people. I really enjoy it.
Well, thank you, Stump.
Okay, and thank you.